The House is resumed for the extended sitting. Called Government Order of the Day number 5.
Ngā mano Whenua o Tamaki Makaurau Collective Redress Bill, first reading.
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Ngā mana Whenua o Tamaki Makaurau Collective Claims Settlement Bill be now read a first time, and I nominate the Māori Affairs Select Committee to consider the bill. Mr Speaker, Ngā mana Whenua o Tamaki Makaurau is the collective name taken by 13 iwi and hapu of Tamaki, or Auckland, a body often referred to as the Tamaki Collective. Representatives of the collective signed a deed with the Crown on 8 September 2012 for collective redress for their shared interests in Tamaki Makaurau, and this bill gives effect to the deed. The deed and this bill are the product of almost 4 years of very intensive negotiation between the Crown and the iwi and the hapu of Auckland. In early 2009, I approached Sir Douglas Graham to advise the Crown on treaty settlement negotiations in the Tamaki, Kaipara and Hauraki regions. These were areas where, for good reason, negotiations had effectively stalled. In 2007, the Waitangi Tribunal described the Auckland area as having highly complex interrelationships between groups with customary interests that are multiple and multi-layered. The Tribunal set a challenge for iwi and the Crown to find a way that recognised the legitimate interests of individual iwi while also recognising those layers of interest. Sir Douglas Graham proposed the Crown deliver redress collectively, such as the volcanic cones or the maunga of Tamaki, where many iwi and hapu held customary interests. Cabinet agreed, and in July 2009, Sir Douglas presented the proposal to the various iwi and hapu of Tamaki. The subsequent agreement by the iwi and hapu to the concept of collective redress was a very significant breakthrough for negotiations. First, it allowed iwi to work together to secure the transfer of 14 of Auckland's iconic volcanic cones to the Tamaki Collective. The adage, strength in numbers, certainly applies here. These maunga will be held as reserves for the common benefit of the Tamaki Collective and the people of Auckland. Public access and third-party interests over them will be protected. In this, the iwi and hapu of the Tamaki Collective have recognised not only their customary interests, but the interests of all people living in Auckland. The maunga were formerly fortified pās and villages, with their occupants having command over most of the Tamaki Isthmus. Today they are regularly used as places to visit and play on, to have picnics, even for getting married. For Māori and non-Māori alike, they will remain a defining part of the Auckland landscape. Secondly, the collective has given both the Crown and Auckland Council a representative body of tribal interests to engage with. At the heart of the settlement is the establishment of a co-governance body called the Tupuna Maunga o Tamaki Makaurau Authority, or Maunga Authority. This authority is made up equally of representatives of the Tamaki Collective and the Auckland Council. While Auckland Council will be responsible for the day-to-day administration of the volcanic cones, the authority will oversee their governance. In effect, a partnership is going to be formed between Māori and the Council in an arrangement that will enhance the future management and protection of these very, very important landmarks. The collective will also have a relationship agreement with the Minister of Conservation and the Director General of Conservation on issues across the Auckland Conservancy. 3 seats on the Auckland Conservation Board are reserved for the collective. Mr Speaker, other collective redress includes the vesting of 4 motu islands in the Tamaki collective, Rangitoto, Motutapu, Motuihe and Tiritiri Mātangi, this for a 1-month period, after which they'll be vested back in the Crown for the benefit of all New Zealanders. 3 areas on Rangitoto, including the summit and sites at Islington Bay, will remain in the ownership of the collective as scenic reserves. The Department of Conservation will continue to manage the summit of Rangitoto. The collective will also be involved with the Department of Conservation in the development of a management plan for the islands. Very significantly, this bill does not settle any historical claims or provide financial redress. Rather, members of the collective will individually reach their own deeds of settlement with the Crown. The deed and bill nevertheless provide the members of the Tamaki collective with a right of first refusal for 172 years over Crown-owned land and certain Crown entity-owned lands that become surplus in that period. This is a very important shared benefit and is likely to provide significant long-term benefits. I'm very pleased to say that legislation for 2 iwi, Ngāti Whātua Orake and Ngāti Whātua o Kaipara, has been passed recently by this House. I'm confident settlements are within sight for other collective members, including Maratuahu iwi, Ngaitai ki Tamaki, Te Karawamaki and Ngāti Tamaoho. We're also committed to reaching settlements with Te Runanga o Ngāti Whātua, Ngāti Tiata and Te Akatai. Mr. Speaker, the negotiations that led to this deed were far-reaching and robust. First, and most importantly, I want to acknowledge all the leaders of the 13 iwi and hapu of the collective. Their vision and their willingness to work together and with the Crown has enabled this ambitious redress package to proceed. In particular, I acknowledge the astute leadership and vision of the chairperson of the collective, Paul Majuri. This settlement would not have been possible without agreement and active cooperation from Auckland Council, and I want to acknowledge the vision of His Worship, Auckland Mayor Len Brown, and other councillors who have worked very, very hard in support of this proposal. I think this bill delivers an innovative structure through which Auckland Council can engage with the iwi and the hapu of Tamaki. It's an exciting time for Auckland. I must also pay tribute to the city leaders who preceded the Auckland Council. Again, Mr Brown for Manukau, John Banks for Auckland City, Andrew Williams for North Shore, and of course Sir Bob Harvey in Waitakere. I also want to thank my fellow ministers whose departments have been involved in negotiations, in particular the former Minister of Conservation, the Honourable Kate Wilkinson. I also acknowledge the hard-working officials in the Office of Treaty Settlements and the Chief Crown Negotiator, Michael Drever, ever optimistic, ever energetic. To conclude, Mr Speaker, this bill gives effect to an innovative and groundbreaking deed of redress. The package is a robust one and will serve not only the iwi and hapu of Auckland well, but also the public of Auckland and the Auckland Council. I commend the bill to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to.
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Shane Jones.